Darren's filling our water bottles up here in Piccaninny Gorge using our little water filter to get some water out of this little water hole.
So a special treat for us, we're having a thunderstorm in the Bungle Bungles, or Purnululu. Literally lightning and thunder, which of course echoes all the way down the gorge, which is awesome. Thankfully we bought more than just the fly mesh tent. That was a fortuitous choice in the end. So Sarah, what are we doing?
Cooking dinner in the rain.
In a thunderstorm. So we're heating up some not butter chicken.
And some outback lamb curry.
Right, watch out, you'll burn yourself.
So we couldn't get the same. We have to share both because of taste both.
How come we didn't get the same?
I don't know. Didn't have the same at the shops, I suppose.
And how did you go today?
Hard work. Towards the end, I lost my will to live. My hips were in a lot of pain and my feet as well. Yeah. I can't wait for bed.
And how do you feel about doing the same walk home again?
Yeah, I'm willing to pay the helicopter price out. Can I press the SOS box?
You pay for it out of your pay.
So, just had our dinner. What was dinner like, Daz?
Dinner was pretty good. Quite nice.
It was yummy.
I think I liked my curry better than your
Not so butter chicken.
Not butter chicken.
And both tasted really nice.
They did.
Now we're just laying here on the floor.
We're exhausted, but it's too early to go to bed, so...
It's like only just after 5 PM. The sun hasn't gone down yet, or maybe the sun has gone down, but it's not dark yet, so we feel like we can't go to bed yet.
I don't think the sun's gone down, it's just that obviously we can't see it because we're in the gorge, and it's overcast.
So yeah.
So we're laying on the stones, looking up at the gorge and the sky and watching the bats fly overhead.
They're teeny tiny, so I don't think the camera is gonna capture it. There's one coming through now. Oh, one
There's
coming
one
there.
overhead.
Oh, you can hear them.
Mm. Oh, there's one right overhead.
So yeah, that's gonna be our pastime tonight.
And this is a special kind of silence. Awesome.
How so?
You just can't, apart from the odd bird or anything, you can't hear a damn thing.
No, you can't.
It's fantastic.
Well, you can hear the little bats. We've come to a, what do you call this place in the walk, where there's no other way around than through water. So Dad, what are we doing?
Taking shoes off.
So we can walk through the water. Oh, last few meters to our car. Can't wait to take these packs off.
There's up in my life again. I say I'm going on a bike. Shoot me.
You heard it, people. None more of this. No more of this. This is insane. Hello, car. So nice to see you. Thanks for waiting for us.
So Sarah,
Yeah.
this walk, what about it is triggering you at the moment?
Sand and the pebbles. It's giving me PTSD.
So yes, here we are on another hike after our, dare I say my word of this holiday, horrific walk into Piccaninny Gorge. It was beautiful, but the walking was awful. And here we are walking up river pebbles again.
Do not like it.
No, although it is much easier without like 20-30 kilos pack on your back. It's the walk into mini palms. Bye. See you back at camp.
Okay, a couple of nights have now passed. We have calmed down a little bit after our hike, I think.
A little bit.
A little bit. Still complaining a bit about it. But what were our thoughts on the Piccaninny Gorge hike?
So we've obviously on our trips done quite a few hikes. Now, I think the longest, hardest hike we did was in Catherine because we couldn't do the canoe tour. We did a 12-kilometre hike that went up the gorge and back down again, and it was hard. Like by the end of the day, we were like ready to die, I think. And so, you know, from there, you quite often go into these hikes and they quote times, and we find that we're always coming up way shorter than the quoted times because obviously they're quoting them for people that are maybe aged or not going to find it easy to traverse. So when the girl at the visitor centre was sort of like telling us about, you know, this is quite a hard hike, you know, you hikers, blah, 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 we're all thinking, oh yeah, here we go, same. Oh my goodness, I don't think anything prepared us for what we were heading into there.
No.
So the walking itself is not really an issue, but introduce sand and pebbles.
And like a 20-kilo pack on your back.
20 kilos worth of weight on your back. And it's much the same as four-wheel driving. You know, you're walking along on the stone to start with, on the rock, and it's easy. There's no worries. But then all of a sudden you hit sand or pebbles, and every step is half of what it should be, plus the extra effort as well. And honestly, it was. I don't think I've ever seen you so broken as when we hit the top of that walk.
No, I was dead. Darren had to stop a few times because I'm a bit slower than him, and so he had to stop a few times to wait for me. And then I'd be like, "Are we camping here?" He's like, "Nope." I'm like, "Okay, I have to keep going because once I stop, I stop." I was just, I don't know what got into me then. Just keep going till I have to drop dead.
And when Sarah says, like, I had to wait for her, because in order to survive that walking, you have to walk at your own stride.
You do.
You've got to get that rhythm. So my rhythm is obviously a little bit faster and longer than Sarah's. So I'd walk ahead a bit, find some shade, stop and wait, walk ahead a bit, and so on and so on. But so we didn't end up making it completely to the top. We stopped at some stage and decided that the next day we would continue going, but without all of our gear. We would just take minimum supplies to keep going. But unfortunately, we hit a swim section, so we knew there was going to be swim sections in the branches, and so we figured we were just going to leave our gear at the entrance, go in, have a look, come back out. But we hadn't expected to get a swim section right in the middle of the main path, and we weren't equipped for swimming with all of our gear through that swim section. So,
and we had already done a few swims up until then, haven't we?
Yeah, so we'd done, or not swims so much, but wades. We'd had to wade through a couple of sections, and we got to the point where you had to do that with your boots on. You know, the first one we took our boots off, waded through, and put them back on, but you started to get ones with rocks and pebbles and stuff, so we ended up having to wade through with boots on. And so I think we got to the point where we were quite exhausted and started to feel like no matter where we went, we were just going to see more of the same sort of thing. So maybe we're wrong. We haven't been into those fingers, as they call them, in depth, and I'm sure they're very beautiful. But honestly, where we were was beautiful anyway.
Yeah. The camp we had for the night was a really nice spot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then also during the night we had a bit of early on in the evening had a thunderstorm, so there was thunder and it was echoing off the gorge walls, which was really cool.
That was quite an experience to get that, because that would be, I imagine, very rare. So yeah, it was quite an experience to hear that thunder rumble all the way up the gorge after. It was good.
And then we had the lightning as well, and then I wouldn't call it rain. We had just a little bit of drizzle, didn't we? Sprinkling. But it was funny, because we slept in our tent, obviously, but every time it started sprinkling, Darren would wake up and he's like, "Oh, those poor girls." On the way in, we passed two girls, and they had stopped because they didn't want to go any further either. And they mentioned to us they only had their fly net tent. They didn't bring the fly sheet, so they would have gotten wet.
And the poor things, it would rain and it would sprinkle for a little bit, and then it would stop. And so then after a while you'd think they're probably just starting to get dry, and then it would sprinkle again. It must have happened 4 or 5 times during the night. Every time they'd just be getting wet again.
So yeah, on the second day in there we did one of the fingers, which was quite pretty. You had to traverse through some water and then come back out, climb cliff faces and do some rock scrambles.
Which was awesome after you were exhausted and coming in there and every muscle in your body ached. So I think in wrapping that up, it was a really grueling walk. I would never do it again. If anyone told me they were going to do it, I would sit them down for a 5 and let them know this isn't like any other walk you've probably been on. But at the same time, I think I'm kind of glad we did it, in that the camping in there was just amazing. There were 8 other people in there, but it's so spread out you'd never know. We did come across a couple of people, but you're camping there at night and the silence is just phenomenal. And I was laying there as the sun was sort of going down, just laying on the ground looking up at the cliff faces. They're just so high, and just laying there and just listening, and all you can hear is the birds and the echo happening up and down the gorge, and it was just amazing. So I'm glad I got to experience that.
Yeah, that was really good. And we turned into a couple of old people, because we had dinner at 4:30 that day to have dinner in the daylight, and then by 4:45 we were done, and then we're like, okay, what now, can we go to bed? And it was still light.
That was the longest night.
So it probably got dark around 6, would you say?
Yeah, maybe even before that.
And so yeah, I just wanted to lay down in the tent. So yeah, I think we were in there for 12 hours.
Mm.
Sort of like not fully slept through the 12 hours, but it was the longest night, like you said. Just but
So
yeah.
then we thought we were done, and well, so then the next day we decided to come back out because I think we were just so tired and sore and exhausted. We'd seen what we needed to see, and we just wanted to get home. So rather than staying the 2 nights, we came out, and I guess in hindsight, I kind of regret in that I'd love to have stayed another night in that spot. But we would have sat there all day. There's nothing to do, literally nothing to do, especially when you're not really up for going and doing more hiking at the time. So we made the choice to come back. So we marched our way out of there, and Sarah was like on a death march. She was just like not stopping for anything. I want home. I really don't. In hindsight, I really don't know how you handled that because, as I've said a few times, I'm usually a bit out in front of you as far as that sort of thing goes. And I was ready to just like drop into a pile on the floor and go, just let me die here. So how you handled that was quite amazing, really. So the next day, we're thinking, yep, chill day. We were tossing up, are we even going to do the 200-meter walk into,
A kilometre walk.
walk into,
Excuse me.
into Echidna Chasm, and we decided we'd better do that. So we did that. And then we got out of there okay, and we thought, oh, let's go do the mini palms. And oh boy, we'll be glad we did that.
The mini palms was beautiful.
Excuse me, you're interrupting. It's rude. What did I just say? So yeah, that's a 4-kilometre return, and that involves a little bit of rock scrambling and stuff. But again, you get up the top there, and if you happen to jag just for 10 minutes or so with no people up there, we did actually manage to do that. Oh, the silence again is just, and you just sit there and...
Oi!
We actually just laid on the floor and stared up at the gap through the chasm and just enjoyed the quiet, and you hear the trees rustling through the palm leaves and that cracky sort of noise they make. It was beautiful.
That's really nice. Echidna Chasm was really beautiful as well. There was just a lot of people naturally because everyone gets recommended to get there for a particular time of the day where the sun hits the walls and bounces off all the the chasm walls, and it just lights it up, which is really, really beautiful. But yeah, mini palms, I reckon, would be probably better to say.
Who don't know how to set their exposure controls.
Oh dear. But yeah, all in all, I think our stay in Purnululu was really good, wasn't it? I enjoyed it.
Definitely. Certainly seen quite, for the small amounts that we have seen, I feel like we've seen a lot in here. I mean, you could easily come back and do another trip in here and still see more. But I think we've seen all of it. I mean, I feel like if you do much more in here, you're going to be seeing much more of the same sort of thing anyway. But we've certainly had some experiences in here.
Yeah, some physical and mental tests for sure.
I think that was sometimes the hardest part, the mentality side of it. Dealing with that, having to just keep on going. I mean, you had no choice. Short of calling the chopper in, you just had to keep going. Yeah. And it was hard. It was hot. You were sweaty. You were thirsty. You couldn't really sort of drink all that you wanted to drink because water is scarce. Any water you have to carry with you. So you fill up, pump it up somewhere, and then carry it wherever, and pump it up somewhere.
Yeah.
So you had to just keep on going. And I think, as we've said a couple of times, that last 300 metres, like 300 metres to the car park. Oh my goodness.
Seemed like the longest torture. 300 metres. And if anyone could have seen us, that would have been so funny to watch. As soon as we got to the car, we both dropped our packs on the ground and then just like, give me a cold drink, please. So, because we have a fridge in the car, so we just wanted a cold drink. And that was the best cold drink ever, I reckon.
It was the greatest beer I think I've ever had.
So yeah, no, it was definitely a good experience, and we enjoyed our time. And now we're just taking it easy this morning. We're packing up and heading off to Kununurra.
And hopefully we'll make it out of here without another puncture.
Mm.
Otherwise we're in poo.
That's it. Wish us some luck.